tell you some information about my home country, India, and my host country, Bosnia. So let's start with the geography. The geography is actually the features in the place, like the landscape, mountains, and etc. So India is a peninsula which is bordered by the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. The countries that border India are Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Burma, China, and that's it. The highest mountain in India is Mount Kanchenjunga. It's also the third largest mountain in the world, and it is 28,169 feet. The longest river in India is the Ganges River. The population in India is about 1 billion, and it's also the second largest population in the world. India has 455 languages, but the main language in India is Hindi, Bengali, and Telugu. India has warm summers and cold winters. And when I mean cold, it's a rainy season that lasts for 3 months. India is a secular country, so there's more than one religion, but the main religion in India is Hinduism. So, even though I'm from India, I have been living in Bosnia for about 5 years. Bosnia is shaped as a heart and has a 20-kilometer coastline that borders the Adriatic Sea. The countries that border Bosnia are Croatia, Serbia, and Montenegro. Bosnia has warm summers and cold winters with a fair amount of snow. The religion in Bosnia is Orthodox Christian, Christian Catholics, and Islam. Bosnia in India has a similar type of history, and history means the main events that have happened during the past years. They're similar because both were conquered, ruled, and they finally became independent after a long time. India started out as the Dravidian civilization, which was conquered by the Aryans in 2500 BC. In 326 BC, Alexander the Great came to India. He was a great warrior from Greece and was also, of course, from Greece. What I find most interesting during the Indian history is when the Mughal Empire took over India. It all started with a person named Babu who established the Mughal Empire. Akbar the Great was one of the best rulers during the Mughal rule. He was also called Jalaluddin, and he was good at fighting, but could not read or write. He had 9 court members in his court, and all of them were good at different stuff, like was good at singing, while the other was smart. The person who was good at singing was called Tansen, and when he sang a particular type of Indian notation, it used to rain, and when he stopped, the sun used to come out. After Akbar's rule, Shah Jahan took over, and during his rule, the Taj Mahal was built. Taj Mahal was built for his favorite wife Mumtaz, and after they died, they were buried in the Taj Mahal. In 1858, the Britishers took over India. Mahatma Gandhi made India independent by using non-violence. He was assassinated after India became independent. So now let me move on to Bosnia's history. Bosnia started out as when the Illyrians conquered the Neolithic population. In 1545, the Ottoman Empire took over Bosnia. Because of them, cities in Bosnia such as Sarajevo and Mostar became centers of trade. In 1908, the assassin of Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophia started near the Latin Bridge started World War I. After World War II, Croatia and Slovenia did not be part of Yugoslavia anymore. But when But on 1st March, Bosnia declared its independence, but the Serbians did not agree because they wanted more land. And this started the siege of Sarajevo. After 4 years, Bosnia became independent. So, Bosnia and India have a completely different government. And government is like the politicians in the India and Bosnia who rule over the city or country. India follows parliamentary democracy, which means the Prime Minister has more power than the President. This was inherited from the British government. Right now, the Prime Minister of India is Manmohan Singh, and his role is to make India a better place by instructing his engineers to build roads, make buildings, and etc. He is also the advisor of the President. On the other hand, the President is like the ambassador of India, but he also has an important role too. Without his agreement, a bill will be turned into a law. So, as I told, Bosnia also has a completely different government, and this is why. See, Bosnia also follows democracy, but not parliamentary democracy. And they have 3 presidents. One is from Bosnia, one is from Croatia, and one is from Serbia. The president is elected every 4 years and have an 8-month and rotate around every 8 months to be the chairman. Right now, the chairman of Bosnia is Vjokoslav Bavanda. And don't forget the Prime Minister, Mustafa Milosevic. The role of the president is to act ambassador and control over armed forces. So, now you know most of the stuff about India and Bosnia except one thing, economy. The currency of India is rupees. So let me talk to you about some exports and imports that India take. India exports precious stones, chemicals, iron ore, automobiles, machinery, textiles, software, natural gas, medicines, and they import crude oil, raw gemstones, machinery, fertilizer, and coal, steel, and chemicals. But who are their trade partners and how do they get the exports and imports? Like, who are their partners? Well, the trade partners of India are UAE, USA, Singapore, China, and Hong Kong. And their import partners are also America and UAE, China, and Saudi Arabia and Sudan. The natural resources in India are like metal minerals, marble and sillimanite, and etc. The unemployment rate in India is 3.8%, and that is low. So let's move on to Bosnia's economy. Bosnia's currency is KM, or convertible marks, and they export wood products, clothing, iron, and they import machinery, chemicals, and food items. Their export partners are Croatia and Austria, Italy, and Germany, and their import partners are Slovenia, Russia, and Hungary. The unemployment rate in Bosnia is 44%. Then that is very high. So sadly, this is the end of my presentation. Thanks for watching.